Guess who's back? Back again. Champions League. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Champions League. Guess who's back? Champions League. Da 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 da. Welcome to the Bench Banter podcast. And oh, are we excited because it's the return of the Champions League. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day because certainly we are. We've been waiting so long for this day. I mean, February 14th. Oh, it brings back so many memories of love, our love for the Champions League. Hello, guys. I am your host, Avinash Menon, and joining me on the bench today are Ashwin, Sashank, Amitesh, and Karthi.
Hi
Hi
guys.
guys.
Hi guys.
Boys, I hope your prediction skills are almost as good as mine because during the course of the next few episodes, we are going to be doing previews. We are going to be doing reviews. But, and most importantly, we are going to be giving up predictions for every game. The person with the most points at the end of the league, at the end of the campaign, will be crowned champion and get bragging rights. What does that mean? Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on X. Like this video. Subscribe to our channel. Join us along this journey and you shall find out. Back to this episode. We have 4 very well lined up matches to discuss. So without any further ado, let's get on with the first game. As Copenhagen host the best team out of Manchester. So who else better to ask than Karthi? What are your thoughts about this game, mate?
Yeah, as you said, City are traveling to Denmark to face Copenhagen. They finished second in the group, a very tight group with 8 points, and City, as usual, dominating their group. Yeah, I feel City are going to dominate this fixture. As they go away, I think that will be an easy win for them, and they'll be like rotating teams according to the Premier League game week also. So I feel youngsters like Lewis and all might start, and I feel like easy 3-0 City win. What do you guys think about it?
I don't think we can have any contradictory opinions to that. City are the champions. They have Haaland back. KDB is in good form. You really can't put it past City right now, like to Copenhagen to have any sort of a chance. It might be a fun game to watch, but I agree with Karthik. I think it's going to be a clear City win. There's not much to even discuss regarding Copenhagen's chances in this game.
Yeah,
Sashank?
yeah. So Kevin De Bruyne was rested in the weekend also, so he should be very fresh for this game. Even though I'm expecting a fairly easy City win, I think the defensive prowess of Copenhagen will come out, and we will see it. I think fairly easy win, but it won't be a huge scoreline. So I'm expecting, say, a 1 or 2 goal differential defeat for Copenhagen in this game.
Yeah, I think City have been proving themselves, and in the Premier League also, we can never say City is not having a good season because they always manage, and this is the time when City shines. I don't think they are going to lose a single match here until the season gets over, and I mean, you can never count City out. So yeah, I think City is going to win too. What are our predictions for this game? I'm going to start with Amitesh.
Yeah, so again, I think City's got this in the bag. The only thing I'd be interested to see is if they possibly, switch the squad around and, go with a sort of a younger, more inexperienced lineup considering the fixture. But then again, I doubt it in the first leg. But yeah, definitely easy win for City, I guess.
Ashwin, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you can't really look past City in this fixture. So I'm going for a City win as well.
So that was a pretty fairly easy result. I mean, that's a clean sweep for City. I hope the next 3 matches aren't going to be one-sided, at least from our points of view. So moving on to the next game, it's Leipzig hosting Real Madrid. And who else than a Barca fan to talk about this particular game? So Ashwin, on to you.
Yeah, I mean, out of the 4 fixtures this week, I think this is the best. Of course, you have Real Madrid, the kings of the Champions League, if you will. It feels weird just saying that, but I have to say it. I think Leipzig are a very good team, very attacking team. I think this will be a very interesting game. Of course, Leipzig come into this in really bad form. They have just 1 win in 5 matches. and their defensive frailties are on show. They've conceded, I think, 11 goals in the last 5 games. But with the talent that they have a very young, energetic squad. They have a wonderful attacking manager who, uh, promotes them to play freely without having to like put them in a tactical structure as such. And it's at their home stadium, and you already know how German fans are. They're passionate. They're going to create that atmosphere in the stadium. And especially when a team like Madrid visit, you need every single fan that you can get. You need all kinds of support that you can get. So I think it's going to be a wonderful game to watch. It's going to be end to end. Uh, Speaking of Real Madrid, not much to say. They're on course for possibly a treble this season. Uh, they have wonderful attackers and midfielders. I mean, not much to say about Bellingham. 29 games, 20 goals, 9 assists. He's going to be a huge miss though for this game. He has, I think, an ankle sprain. He's out for a couple of weeks. So that's going to be a huge miss, and it's going to be fun to see who fills that void. Because after Bellingham, the next best goal scorer they have is Vinny Jr., and he's got 12 goals in all competitions this season. So that lack of goals, lack of creativity, lack of fight in midfield that Bellingham brings, it's going to be fun to see who replaces that. Of course, they have all the talent in the world. They have Valverde, the class of Cruz and Modric, the youthful energy of Tchouaméni and Camavinga. So, I mean, I don't think Bellingham will be a huge miss. But, big stage, big game player, you're always going to miss him. So it's going to be interesting to see how they replace him. And you have like amazing goal scorers on Leipzig as well. They got their striker Lois Openda from Lens this season, and he's got 19 goals in all competitions already. They have a wonderfully creative midfield, Xavi Simons with 9 assists, and they have wonderful attacking fullbacks in David Raum. So it's going to be a very, very interesting watch. And for all the attacking prowess that Madrid have, their defense hasn't been spoken about much. They have been leaky as well. They are prone to an error or two here and there. So it will definitely be an interesting watch. I'm still giving it the edge to Madrid, but I wouldn't be surprised if Leipzig gave them a run for their money.
Karthik, how about you?
Yeah, as Ashwin said, RB Leipzig are playing excellently this season, and their attack is too good. And their creative midfield, that young guy called Xavi Simons, he's doing wonders in the team. I think I'm rooting for a Leipzig win.
How about Amitesh?
I agree with what Russian said that Bellingham missing the game would be a possible big factor considering the impact that he's brought to the team this season. Not just that, but I think Madrid have also had a few other injury worries, particularly at the back. So, like Ashwin said, they've been particularly leaky, and I think this is a good opportunity for Leipzig to capitalize. Would be a good game to see, and then it could go either way. But I still lean towards Madrid.
Sashank, how about you?
As Ashwin already pointed out, RB Leipzig is coming into it with a very, very bad form. They've only won one in their last 5 games, and I think they've leaked more than 3 goals in 2 of their last 5 games. So defensively, they're not doing that great. Considering that Bellingham is sitting out, might be a little relief for them, but I don't know how much. But I still want to go for the dark horse. I still think that this RB Leipzig might make an upset and come into winning form at home. It'd be the perfect comeback for their season right now. So I think it would be a tight game, but maybe Leipzig will edge Real Madrid in the end.
It's nice that there are people rooting for the underdogs. I think along the similar lines as well. I think Leipzig coming into this match, they don't have anything to lose because they're playing against, let's face it, if not the greatest team to ever play in the Champions League. And losing against Madrid is nothing to be ashamed of. Agreed. Leipzig are coming after a run of horrible fixtures. They've not been playing at their best. But knowing that they're going to be playing at home against a side who is currently lacking their main player is something to look forward to. And like you said, I think their wingbacks, their fullbacks are pretty good right now and very young. So in this particular atmosphere, with this motive of having nothing to lose, I think they might be able to exploit Madrid's defense and get a couple of goals. So I'm not going to be too ambitious, but I'm hoping for a draw. So I think that brings us to a third game, which is I don't see Chelsea anywhere here. It's PSG versus Sociedad, but since Amitesh has nothing else to talk about, you can take this one, fam.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. Then again, so this game again, I think it's two teams of two different classes. I would say. I mean, we all know PSG is like really up there in that Farmers League. With a big 10-point gap between the team that's second, and then you've got Sociedad who are sitting seventh on the league. But then I'd say that it'd be a competitive game. I mean, considering that the La Liga by itself is a bit more of a competitive league. Would be interesting to see, but I still do think that PSG is going to run away with this one. Ashwin, your thoughts on this?
So, since I'm a Barca fan, I do watch a lot of La Liga, and I've seen Sociedad play. So I wouldn't go so far as to say that this is a one-sided game. I do think Sociedad have the capability to mix it up with the big boys, and PSG, no matter how big they are, they've always choked at this level. So I would never put it past Sociedad to shock them there. I would still pick PSG as my winner here, but I would not at all be surprised if Sociedad bring a surprise here. And they have some wonderful young players. They have an experienced core as well, and the game in La Liga generally is more defensive as well. So it's not going to be very hard for them to spend long periods of time off the ball, defending with a low block against the likes of Mbappe and Ramos and all these guys. So I I still think PSG will edge it, but it won't be as one sided as we are thinking it is. So yeah, I think it'll be a good game as well.
Sashank?
Yeah, last two seasons, I picked PSG in the same run to win. They sadly always disappoint. So this time, I think I'll go with the underdog again. I'll go with Sociedad and Leipzig. So they are my two underdog picks for this week.
That's great. Karthi, how about you?
I'm going for a PSG win, but as Ashwin said, Real Sociedad, La Liga teams are always known for their upsets in Champions League, these underdog teams. So I won't be surprised if Real Sociedad wins, but I'm rooting for PSG win only.
Yeah, I think that game, the standard of football is going to be very good because, this was one question I wanted to ask, but I'll say my prediction before I ask you the question. I think I'm going to say PSG because I think Mbappe, is just one man who I think is been proving himself time and time again. I agree it's in PSG, but I think he's been proving himself and, shutting down all those critics after the World Cup, after everything. So I think PSG's got this, especially since they're playing in Parc des Princes. I think PSG are going to win this. Are they going to walk away with this? My question was something based out of PSG. Would you rather be a top team in a Farmers League or be an average or a 6th to 8th team in a highly competitive league?
Whew.
Like Premier League.
So
not anymore.
So what I feel, my 2 cents on this is, at the end of the day, it's still a trophy that they win, right? It's 38 games. Okay, it's not easy. Okay, the standard of football might not be as high as the other leagues around Europe in general, but you still have to turn up there, play your 38 games, show that consistency, and still win that title. So I still feel I would be PSG. I wouldn't want to be a 6th, 7th, 8th team in the Premier League or La Liga. It's still a trophy. It's still something in the cabinet. You can't say that for a lot of teams today.
For sure.
So I definitely feel that you have to give them credit that they're still winning it. You still have to go out there and win your 38 games, win your 30 games, win your 25 games, whatever it is, and you have to put in the effort. And I since I'm a Messi fan, I did watch that league for 2 years. It's not as bad as people make it out to be. There are some really good teams, good players out there, and I mean, they do know how to defend and they do their bit. So of course, I'm not saying that it's the best league out there, but certainly when it comes to your question, I would still want to be PSG in that Farmers League, so to speak, than any an average team in any other league, because a trophy is a trophy, man. I think
Sashank,
you as
how
an
about
Arsenal fan, would definitely relate to that.
I'm cutting this part
sure.
out. I'm not putting this in the show. Sashank, how about you?
Yeah, I also agree with the sentiment. I would also be in a top league. Doesn't matter. I would be in a top position. Doesn't matter the league, because it opens opportunity into Champions League and other opportunities. Which, being a sixth or an eighth position, even though it's competitive, you're only competing for one thing. Now, when you're a top team, doesn't matter which league, you get to compete with Europe's best. Let's say Champions League is dream. It's everyone's dream. So it doesn't matter if your league is not that competitive. You get to play a few rounds which are, let's say, really competitive, and you come into it fresh. Let's say the mentality is like that you are much more fresh and prepared for something like this. That you're saving your mentality, your physicality, everything, just for this few set of games which you can prove yourself. Where, like Mbappe does, he does he does incredibly well in Champions League. Even though the results are not there, you can see that his game style improves when he comes into this league. So I think I would do the same.
Amitesh, how about you? The same, or
No,
do
but
you think differently?
a little bit different, I'd say. I think that, purely from a fan's perspective, I mean, coming in at a time when, there are a lot of, let's say, plastic fans around the world, they're just supporting a particular player over a team. And in the way of supporting that player, they end up saying that, oh, yeah, I'm a Real Madrid fan because I support Ronaldo. Or, oh, yeah, I'm a, Manchester United fan because of so and so player. We know a lot of these people. So rather than being a fan of a top team without knowing much about the team, or just supporting a player or two, I think it's more important. I mean, you obviously see the passion more in the people who have been following clubs despite those teams being at sixth or eighth place or at 10th place for that position, for that matter. Because even when those clubs, when they get into European football by maybe just coming fifth in the league, their fans, that feeling of elation that they get, that is surreal. That is something that we can't put into words, right? So that's my take on it. Of course, you would obviously want to be a team that wins trophies. Like, I don't deny what Ashwin or Shashank have said, that you obviously want to win at the end of the day. That is the goal. But I'd rather, be a hardcore supporter of a team and be with that team through thick and thin, rather than being a plastic fan, just being with the team through the good times. Or, that's my view on it.
Kati, how about you?
Yeah, I go with Ashwin and Shashank. I feel like each league has its own uniqueness. Each team has their own culture, and each team has their own hardcore fans. But yeah, each player puts the same amount of hard work they like to win the league. So the ultimate aim is trophies. So I'll be the top in my league. I'll prefer to be supporting the team top in the league.
Okay, that's fair. I think I resonate a lot with what Amitesh said. I think I'm someone who's very competitive, and if I supported a team, I would want that team to be competitive too. So I would rather have 3-4 teams fighting for my particular spot, even if that was eighth on the table, than just be sitting lonely like where PSG are right now, knowing that even if they were to lose the next 3-4 games, they would still be top. So that competition is one factor which is very important for me, and I think for Amitesh too. I think that's where we relate to. So nice. It's nice to know
Exactly.
that 3 people are on one side and 2 people are on the other side with respect to this. Okay. Sorry, I deviated. Moving to
Yeah.
the last game for this particular game week. This game has Sashank written all over it because I mean
Oh yeah, you
you've
see.
been living in Bavaria for so many years now. So if there's
Yeah.
anybody to talk about the culture of Bayern in Germany, it has to be you. So how do you
Oh.
feel about Lazio facing Bayern?
I actually, let's say, I'm not a Bayern fan, but a Bayern fan would be pretty nervous right now after coming in from their loss in the weekend. Their defense does not look that good. They got Sasha Boye from Galatasaray. Their midfield is getting a little bit stronger, but we expected much better from Kim and Upamecano at the back. But it doesn't look that way. It doesn't look like they're able to hold their fort. But I should say that in their Champions League fixture, they haven't dropped a game yet. One draw against Copenhagen, and they won everything else. So Bayern is coming in very strong, and they're coming in after an upset. So they would want some payback. So okay. So with that being said, from mid of December, Lazio has been in a very good form. They've only lost 3 games, and I think out of which 2 are to Inter Milan. So you cannot blame them for that. So they've been in a good form. They've been playing good defensive football, I would say, more than attacking. Their goal scoring is so and so. They're not able. They're mostly evening out their goal conceded and goal scored. So their differential is not so high. So their capability of scoring goals are not, let's say, very very high, or their xG in particular games are not so high. But with the leaky defense from Bayern, that one goal or a two goal is more than enough. So, but with that being said, I'm sure the Bayern team is furious after the after last weekend. So they're gonna come all guns blazing this week. So I would go for a huge win for Bayern. Maybe a 4-0 or a huge differential win for sure.
Amitesh, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I think they should be like, absolutely furious about that, especially that last goal that they consider, Frimpong scoring from as far as he did. And yeah, I mean, but then again, I think that, Bayern's always got that, you always feel like you're up against a giant when you see Bayern in the Champions League. They've really had a very domineering few years in the league. So I feel like it would be a good fixture. Lazio, obviously, the last three games, the last three losses at least have all come against like top class teams, with against Napoli and against Atlanta, who are all in great form. So I think it'll be an interesting game to watch. I mean, I think Bayern should get away with it, but then again, it could go either way.
Yeah, I think it's a game of two center forwards. I mean, two great center forwards. One has been amazing for Tottenham. One has been amazing for Lazio. Playing in Lazio, I mean, I'm sure the crowd's going to be all behind Immobile. And Harry Kane, I mean, I think he's one of the greatest strikers to ever play this game. But he's from Tottenham, so he's been carrying that bad curse with him wherever he's gone. And there are 11 players playing that match, but there's one person who's just carrying that bad vibe with him. I mean, I don't blame him. I just blame the team he's come from. So because of that particular reason, I don't know if that particular reason is good enough for Lazio to win, but I'm going to, Bayern are again seasoned winners. They know how to win in these formats of the game. I mean, they'd at least make it to a semis before an actual fight is brought to them. So I think this should ideally be a cakewalk for Bayern. Yeah, I think that's where I stand at this point. Kati, what do you have to say?
Yeah, both teams having a rocky start to their season. Lazio finishing second last season is now eighth in their league, and Bayern 5 points since 5 points down second position. I feel after the weekend defeat, Bayern might come back, get their tempo back. They'll win easily, I think, around like 3-0. Lazio, I think, like last three losses against big team, but still Lazio are not finding, like not in their tempo now. So I feel easy Bayern win.
Ashwin?
Yeah, so I have a slightly different take to this. I still do think that Bayern are going to win, but one thing that of Lazio I like is their defense, right? And that's the case with most Italian teams. Their foundation stone is defense. They're not the most flamboyant, they're not the most attacking teams out there, but they know how to defend. And combine that with a wonderful defensive manager like Sari, and you do think that they will put up a good defensive performance on the big stage. And they have like you said, Immobile and Felipe Anderson. These guys have what it takes to like mix it up with the big defenses. And speaking of big defenses, I do not think Bayern Munich have a big defense this season. I
For
am, of
sure.
course, I'm a huge fan of Kim Min Jae, but he's had a shaky start to his Bayern career. And you have Eric Dier, you have Upamecano. These guys are, I mean, kudos to them, but these people are walking errors. Like there's just one error away from conceding a goal. No, even if they have like 89 wonderful minutes, you just cannot put it past them to make an error to like concede in the final stages. So having said that, I do feel Bayern will have the quality to individual quality to get over Lazio. But it's Lazio, it's Sari, it's the Italian fans, it's the Italian home grounds, it's the Italian defense, so to speak. Uh, I think Italy will take a stand for them, but I do think Bayern will win. But I do not agree that it's going to be a one-sided massive win. It could be, I wouldn't be surprised, but I do think Lazio will give them a fight.
Well, I think we've covered all the 4 games of the first game week. Anyone has any more remarks to add? Any closing statements or anything?
I think it's going to be a wonderful, Valentine's Day with some
Day games, huh?
great games coming up, and it's a good 4 fixtures to start off what could be like a wonderful round of 16. We haven't even talked about the games that are coming up. I'm sure
Oh,
we're
yeah,
going to
for
get
sure.
there, and those games are huge games, if you will. So this is like the a wonderful appetizer, and I think it's going to be a good game week of Champions League football.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I'm so excited for the next week. I started off this episode so excited. I don't know how I'm going to start the next episode. But yeah, guys, please let us know what you all think. What is your take? Would you rather be a top team in a farmers league or be a 6th or an 8th position team in the mid in a good competitive league? We will be putting up a predictions in the form of a tab on Instagram as well as X, and we'll definitely follow up with that. We will be coming up with a review show of this particular preview once this round of fixtures are over. So stay tuned. Till then, stay safe. Have an amazing Valentine's Day. Cheers. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
Cheers,
Bye,
guys.
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Bye bye.